Hi there, welcome to the Enterprising Conversations channel, your small business watchtower. I'm your channel host, Rendani. Our next topic is going to focus on the assets and liabilities. This is the second building blocks to the key conversation on the balance sheet. Now, get your calculator ready, get your notebook ready, and enjoy the ride. Thank you very much. Now, let's focus on, in our first conversation, we focused on two things. If you still recall, we focused on the sources of money, and then we focused again on the uses of money. Now, yes, uses of money. Now, let's just recap. What did we say are the sources of money? Where did we say money come from? Where does it flow in from? In our first conversation, we said you are a business owner. Where will your money come from? It's a simple question.
From my sales.
Yes, we said your money will come from your sales. Where else?
From grants.
Yes, absolutely. It will come from grants, but there is one other important source that I'm looking for.
And it comes from savings.
Yes, the owner savings. Own contribution. Owner, let me say owner, the savings of the owner. Very, very important because the owner has to put in money into the business. It's one sign of commitment because you cannot have a vision and not commit to that vision. You can't expect other people to commit to a vision that you are not committed to. Okay, wonderful. We also said I'll help you as well.
From the bank loans.
Yes, your loans. Borrowings. Loans could be coming from your, how can I say it? From your family as well. You can borrow from your families.
Or from bank.
Or from the bank. That's true. What else?
Investors.
Investors, yes, investors. You can get other people to invest in your business. Wonderful. Thank you very much for those things. I also mentioned that there are profit, retained profit, when you make profit and you don't use all of it. Now let me tell you about another way. Another way of getting money could be through a bank overdraft. Yes, we did mention loans, another form of money. We're just breaking down the loan part of it, another of overdraft. You can also open a trading account with your suppliers, and those suppliers, you will call them creditors. What? Why? You owe them money. They gave you stock, material, ingredients on credit, like you can pay the credit off in 30 days, in 60 days, and in 90 days. And we said you can also sales when you sold to customers. You can also, money can come in when you have sold assets that you, things that you bought to run your business. There are those things that you buy to keep in the business, to help you run the business. When you sell, for example, say an old oven, maybe you have sold it to an NGO or another organization, another business that wants it. This will be like your sale of oven. And there's another name that we're going to, we will call it an asset. That's an asset. How else? What are we leaving behind? Anyway, it's not a problem. So, let me now deal with this in a different way. Let me show you something. We are still on the sources. We are still on the sources. If you look at those sources of funds, finance, of money, I want to do something. I want us to dive deeper. Did you want to say something? I want to, yes, we've got a participant here who is participating because we want to have a conversation. We don't want it to be a monologue, an echo chamber. No. We want to have somebody who's participating. I want us to think about those sources of money. If you think about it, there are sources of money that are long term, meaning the money that you get from your business. Remember, running a business involves raising money to run your business. There are internal sources of money and there are external sources of money. That's one other thing that we must note. There is your own money as the business owner, and there is money that you get from external people who help you with the money, supplement your own money. Because the success of business, your business, as much as you must be the first one to put your head on the block, there are other people who you must also convince to buy into your vision, to come and invest, to help you, to come and invest, to borrow you money so that they can make money as well, like in the form of interest when we talk about financial institutions. So I'm going to take the same things that we talked about and divide them into long-term and short-term. And my definition for long-term and short-term here is short-term will be like within 12 months and your long-term will be 12 months plus going forward. We are not going to go into technical medium term, and our definition is short term and long term, and short term means within 12 months and long term within 12 months plus. So yes, we are going to divide our sources into long term and then short term. Are they still visible to our?
I think they will come on.
Yeah,
as
okay.
they dry.
Yes.
As they dry.
Long term and short term. Now, remember, own contribution is another long-term source of money, because as the business owner, you are not going to say, no, I'm tired now, I want my money back, and you take back your money. You have invested that money into the business, and you are a source of money. It's a long-term investment into the business, and the business will keep on making profit for you on a regular basis. Now, another long-term, say you've got a loan that you have, bank loan that you have to pay over 12 months, say plus. Let's call that a long term. Maybe it's a 2 year, a loan that you have to repay over a 2 or 3 year period. Now let's talk about something else. Let me say you've got a mortgage. You've got a building, mortgage, bond for buying your building, and they gave you 20 years. You have built a factory and you got a mortgage bond to be repaid over 20 years. And interestingly, your retained profit, your retained profit, it is that part of profit that you say, I'm not going to reward myself with all the profit. I'm going to plow back, to take some money and put it back into the business, because I want to create value in my business. I want to build the financial position, my balance sheet. Those who are sophisticated will say, I want to strengthen the balance sheet of my business. I want to invest more. So you make a profit of 20,000, you take 10,000 for yourself, you are rewarding yourself as the entrepreneur, and you take 10,000 back into the business. That's how you grow your business. Guess what? When I've worked with like your taverners and your small retailers like your tuck shop, I've seen wonders. I've seen amazing people. You find a person who says, I started with 1 crate of soft drinks. I started with 12 soft drinks. And then I now own a depot. Yeah, I'm now owning soft drink depot. Having started from 1 crate of soft drinks. Where does it come from? It's saving and reinvesting into the business. Thank you very much. That's another secret for success. Don't forget it. Now, a short-term means of finance, it will be your creditors. When your supplier give you a facility, credit facility, you are buying on and you repay that account on a monthly basis or bi-monthly, you are paying it back. It's a facility. It's a way. The stock that they are giving you, remember, it's money. If they did not give it to you on credit, you were going to have to pay for it. So stock is money. Stock is money. Another way, short-term overdraft. If you've got an overdraft facility, that is another way of raising cash for your business. That is the overdraft. Other short-term loans, maybe somebody gives you a loan that is repayable within 12 months. Other short-term loans are another source of money. I can't get more basic than what I'm doing now. I hope you are moving with me. Now let me tell you something. Remember, we don't want to use jargon and terminology, but there is nothing wrong with learning new terminology, because as a business person or as an educator, as a learner, of course, in the education sphere, you have to know terminology. This is what we are going to call liabilities. Liabilities. Those who know it, wonderful. So you will have, there are long-term sources of money that we call long-term liabilities, and there are short-term liabilities. These are sources of money. So these are liabilities. And learners and educators will bear with me when I say long-term liabilities. They are the ones that are often referred to as non-current liabilities. And then your short-term liabilities will be referred to as current liabilities. But don't confuse yourself. Just know that there are long-term sources of funds and short-term sources of funds. The terminology you can get used to. Wonderful. I think I'm going to stop on short-term liabilities now. Let's look at how money is used. Pretty much the same way that we're going to use here. And we have talked, this is just a refresher, but with some more further unpacking of what we are talking about. We're unpacking the conversation. Uses of money. We said you can tell me, what does money, what do we use money for in a business? What do we use money for in our business?
We use money to buy assets.
We buy, say we buy a vehicle. We talked about this. Vehicle. To run. These are things that we buy not to sell, but we buy to keep. Why are we keeping them? They help us to run the business. What else do we need in order to run our business? We will have to buy machinery. Let's say machinery and equipment. Machinery and equipment. What else?
We buy land.
Let's say land and buildings. You buy land and buildings for your factory. You want to build a small factory. You are formalizing. You are moving from backyard. You are moving from your garage to a formal building. What else?
We buy ingredients.
Ingredients to bake with or to make, let's say to bake or to cook food. Or we buy stock for those who are traders, who buy products that are ready-made from the supplier and resell. And then in terms of factory, like industries, they will use raw material stocks to make your butler doors, they want to make your steel products and so forth. Yes, what else? What is money used on? Okay.
Data.
Yes, when you want to buy your data, and watch me, I'm writing it here. Water and electricity. And remember, these are the things we talked about. What else?
Pay our workers.
Salaries. Salaries. What else? What else? You can pay your bookkeeper or your accountant. Bookkeeper, is that correct? Bookkeeper, yes, you do. Your bookkeeper is not going to do your books for you for free. Or you have got.
By the way, a bookkeeper will maybe come once in a month.
But you still have to pay. It doesn't matter how often they come.
It's not going to fall under salary because he comes
it's
once in,
yes,
once off.
Especially in the small business environment. Thank you for that opinion. In the small business environment, you usually don't hire a bookkeeper full time. Those who can hire them full time, they can. But in a small business environment, usually you pay for service to save on expenses. Rental, water and electricity, what else? Maintenance, no? Yes, your oven can break down. Your machinery and equipment. Your building needs to be maintained time and again. And they are endless, these kind of expenses. But also here, one other thing I want us to focus on for money. We agreed that money that has not been used will remain in the form of cash and bank balance. Ne? Yes. Remember, when money is not used, it is still part of our possession. We own it. But let me tell you something. When some businesses sell on cash, some sell on cash and credit. Are you with me?
Yes.
So some we are going to, it's money. We have to finance. Those people, customers who buy, as much as we buy from our suppliers, we can buy from our suppliers on credit. Some of our customers will tell us that maybe they are pensioners, the cost of living is too high, they want a credit facility. So we can give credit. And those people who have got our stock, they are called debtors. We call them our debtors. So if you can check, I wrote these other ones because these are expenses. These are expenses. I wrote them that side. And then I wrote these ones this side because these are like things that we keep. Things that, when we are spending our money, there is money that we spend. If you spend money on salaries, it's gone. Your bookkeeper, what is it? Your administrator, when you pay them this month, that money is gone. They're going to use it for their livelihoods. Next month, to get that person to come back to work, you must pay them. The factory worker, you keep on, these are expenses that you, most of the time, you pay on a monthly basis. They recur, they come back, they never go. But when you buy a table to work on, you don't keep on buying a table. When you buy a car, you don't buy cars on a monthly basis, or most often, if you are not selling cars. Your stock comes into the business. It can stay, some stock items can stay for a week, they can stay for a month before they go. So that is the distinction. Because remember, with the stock, if we go out of business, we decide to go out of business, or circumstances force us to go out of business, the stock is still a possession, you're still going to keep it. But with data, once you buy data and use it, it's gone. Once you pay for fuel, for gas, the money is gone. To get another gas, you must buy it. So we call them expenses because they are used up. They are used up. So I want to do The same thing here. What do I want to do? I want to establish this. Now, expenses, I'm sure we understand them now. We understand what the expenses are. I want now us to remember even these things that we bought to keep, in other words, to help run the business. They are called assets. We are looking closer. Things that we buy in the business to keep, and there are things that we buy in the business, your expenses, they get used up. They are not going to be kept, because once electricity is used, you need to pay for another electricity expense in order for you to keep the connection and the supply going. So here, the things that we buy in the business, it is going to be to go the same way. We have got things that we buy in the business that will stay for a long time in the business. They are going to help us stay in the business to run the business. And then there are things that we buy in the business that will stay in the business just for a short period. They are still things that we keep. We buy, they belong, they are our possessions. Possessions that we buy for our business that will stay for a long period, and those that will stay for a short period. Now, give them to me. Long-term vehicles, definitely your car, you will not buy your car. Your car will not disappear after a month. It will still be there.
Land and building.
Land and buildings, or premises, business premises, land and buildings. For those businesses that are owning their factory, that have built their own factory. And what else? Machinery and equipment. Machinery and equipment. Excellent, excellent, excellent stuff. I'm very happy because I can see we're moving together. Now, the short-term assets will be your cash and bank. Cash and bank. And then you will have your overdraft and your other short-term loans within 12 months. Loans that fall within 12 months. I think this concludes our brilliant discussions on assets and liabilities. So far, I'm having a good time. I think it's coming out very well. Engage with us through comments. If you've got questions and contributions to make, we will come back to you. This is the Enterprising Conversations channel, and these are your balance sheet dialogues. Thank you. See you during the third leg of our balance sheet dialogues, which is going to be the key conversation on the balance sheet. Ciao.